everybody, it's Chris Eads, known online as Wootini, here with another Gay Gamer video podcast for you. We got some movies to talk about this week, obviously. There were two big openings. Of course, one is going to make $1 bajillion, and the other is not. So we're going to start with that one, which is, of course, Cats, the Broadway musical brought to horrifying life on the big screen using really creepy CGI. I saw Cats when I was a kid, so I'm familiar with most of the songs and all, and although watching the movie I had forgotten about some of the songs because they were forgettable and not very good, but I remembered the good ones, and some of the songs are actually really good. I like them, personally. The whole plot is just ridiculous and weird, and the entire movie is just completely insane. Like, human actors with human faces, human hands and feet, but given digital fur to make them look like a cat. And it's just as creepy as it sounds, and if you've seen the trailer, the movie it does not disappoint. It is that 100-fold, and it's weird, it's mind-boggling, and the whole time you're just like, how did this get made? Like, who thought this was a good idea? But in its own weird way, it's so bonkers that it's actually kind of awesome. I don't know what to tell you. I also find it amusing that they're, after the opening weekend, they're apparently releasing to all the theaters, they're releasing an updated copy of the film with improved special effects. Apparently, I didn't notice this, but there's apparently a scene where Judi Dench, they didn't CGI her hand, and they left her wedding ring on, and that's funny to me. So I guess they've gone in and fixed that. But if you're in the mood for a bonkers musical movie, go check it out. Of course, the other one is Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, which is the grand finale to the Star Wars trilogy of trilogies. It's really good. I really enjoyed it. However, with a small caveat that I feel like it could have been better, but it's still really good. I just found myself slightly disappointed after The Last Jedi that it went back to being like The Force Awakens. But I had basically lowered my expectations and I went into Rise of Skywalker assuming that it was going to be the Return of the Jedi of this trilogy. Because you start with the crowd-pleasing science fiction adventure movie, Force Awakens, followed by something that's a little more darker and twistier and introduces and kind of undercuts things and makes you go, ooh, what's that? And leaves the heroes in a really bad position, which is The Last Jedi, followed by the crowd-pleasing grand finale that is fine. And it's perfectly entertaining, and there's nothing really, wrong with it, but after the middle movie that was so interesting, to go back to that, it's like Jedi, where Star Wars was great fun, Empire was amazing, and then Jedi was okay, that was fine. I knew going into it that J.J. Abrams was gonna undo some stuff that was done in the second one that people didn't like, and I'm not going to spoil the movie for you, even though I'm sure most of you have already seen it. So if you've seen it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. The one major thing that I knew that he was going to backpedal on was an aspect that Rian Johnson introduced in The Last Jedi that I found absolutely amazing and totally cool and a great idea, and I knew they were going to backpedal on it. However, I was grateful that while they did backpedal on that aspect of the storyline, the twist that I liked, they untwisted it, but they twisted it in a different direction than the obvious one. So I was like, okay, I'm still annoyed that you undid that, but if you had to redo it, at least you redid it over there instead of where we all expected it to go. It went to a different place. But it's very much Return of the Jedi. I mean, it's so much Return of the Jedi that there are like there's a major scene at the end of the movie that is literally from Jedi. Like, it's the same scene again. Which is sort of annoying because I do wish that we could have moved forward with Star Wars instead of constantly referencing the past. Look, I like The Mandalorian as much as anybody, but it's still stuck in the past. I mean, it's actually taking place in the past, but it's still, like, referencing past things and places and people, and you've got a Baby Yoda, and, like, it's like, let's show new things, which it's doing to a certain extent, but these Star Wars movies, they just, you know, they seem stuck in the past, and they have to keep referencing things from the past, and it just feels like fan service, and it's unnecessary. But that's my problem, is that by undoing some of the things from The Last Jedi, either there was no overarching plan, which would be foolish, because you need an overarching plan if you're going to make a series of movies. Look at what the Marvel Cinematic Universe did, and that built and built and built, and each movie was its own chapter, and it built to this amazing, perfect climax. Here, there should have been, and, like, this is the story that we're going to tell, and we're going to tell it in these 3 parts. And then you go and make your part. But make sure that you tell these parts of the story, because that's important to the overarching story. So either there was no overarching plan, which is not good, or there was an overarching plan, and they just changed things for The Rise of Skywalker in reaction to the toxic fan base who protested and said, we don't like this. And that's, I think, even worse, maybe, because that's just a bad precedent to set. But that said, I have complicated feelings about it, because it was really good, and I did really enjoy it. And I am going back again to see it next week, because my husband hates 3D, so we had to go see it flat. So I bought tickets for next weekend when it's still showing in IMAX 3D. So I'm going to go see it in IMAX Laser 3D, and hopefully be visually blown away. And hopefully I don't, like, notice problems that I didn't catch because I was so swept up in the adventure the first time. So, it's great. It's a lot of fun. It's a fine ending to the trilogy. It's just, I feel like maybe it could have been better. I don't know how, but it probably could have been a little more interesting. I'm also curious to know what the original story was supposed to be before the Last Jedi backlash forced them to change some aspects of the story, and then also what the story, how Leia was meant to actually factor into the story, because with Carrie Fisher's death, they could only use whatever footage they had of her, and it's a little creepy, it's a little sad. It mostly works. It's kept to a minimum, so it does mostly work, but I'm curious to know what the actual story was. I don't know if we'll ever know. But I'd like them to tell us. That would have been nice. They probably would tell us about the Leia part, but they wouldn't tell us about what was going to happen with the real story before the backlash set in and they went and changed things to appease the toxic fanboys. That I don't think they would admit to. But yeah, I mean, go see it. You're all going to go see it anyway. So, you don't need me to tell you. Like I said, you've probably already seen it anyway. As for games, I've actually not had a lot of time for gaming because the stupid holidays are showing up soon, and I've got a lot of stuff to do with shopping and baking and wrapping and I'm not a big Christmas fan. Sorry. So there hasn't been a lot of time for gaming, but one thing that I did make sure to do was I'm trying to get back into Ring Fit Adventure because I started slacking off, and then I came down with a cold that I couldn't shake for like a week or two. And having a cold and not feeling well is a fine excuse for not exercising. But then, after I felt better, I still wasn't exercising, and I'm just like, no, get off your butt and do it. And I'm I'm still doing what I can, and it's still fun. I mean, I do enjoy it. When I play it, I do have fun, and I enjoy the fact that I can work up a sweat, and my muscles will get tired, and, you know, I do feel like I'm exercising. I just need to get myself into a routine where I do it every day, even if it's just for 10 minutes. But I'm leveling up, and getting through worlds. I still wish there was more cardio, but I have discovered that there's one mini game called Treadmill, where you have to run on a treadmill and get into the right position to collect coins and avoid the bombs. And that is a reasonable cardio workout because you have to run really fast to get, because the treadmill's working against you, so you have to run really fast to get where you need to be, and then you have to stop and ride it back, and then run more and try to avoid the bombs. So that keeps you running for like a few minutes, and it's quick sprinting kind of thing. So like that's a decent, if it ran longer that'd be better, but obviously it's a mini game, so it's quick. But like I feel like that gets my heart rate going, so that I appreciate that, because there aren't a lot of extended cardio in this. It's all very short bursts, and I wish there was more extended cardio so I could burn more calories, because while it's nice that I'm toning muscles, I also need to burn off these calories. I don't know what I'm going to get, because next weekend, my next episode, that's going to be after Christmas, so I'll find out what I'm getting for Christmas. I don't know if I'm going to get any of the games that I put on my Amazon wish list, because I don't think my husband looked at my Amazon wish list, so, yeah, that was a waste of time. Oh well, it's fine. I'm still not done with Luigi's Mansion, so if I did get something for my Switch for Christmas, I would be torn as to what to do, because obviously I'd want to start it, but then am I ever going to go back and finish Luigi's Mansion, you know? So, come back next time for my special Christmas episode. I'll see you then. Bye!